Hello, everybody, and welcome back to day 3 of the Hashimoto's Fatigue Reboot, Hashimoto's Energy Reboot Challenge, I should say. We want to get rid of fatigue here and want to increase energy. Welcome back, everybody. I am so happy that you're here with me on day 3. It's going to be a good session today. I can't believe we are on day 3. This is our last live session of this challenge. That doesn't mean that the challenge is over yet. I just want to make that really, really clear. So the challenge is not over yet, not for you guys. I will have done the bulk of my part for this challenge in teaching you the 3 main pillars that need to be addressed by everyone with Hashimoto's who wants to create energy in the body, who wants to get rid of brain fog, grogginess, fatigue, but also joint pain and overall inflammation, and increase the thyroid health at the same time. This is what the purpose of this challenge is. This is why I love doing that, because I see a lot of women that are getting stuck in a state of overwhelm because they had some results in the past, but now they have gotten to a level and just stagnated and just don't know how to get over that to the next level, or somebody who is completely new to this and with a new diagnosis and don't even know where to start. I have found that over the past 5 years where I've been doing this, where I have been guiding and coaching women, many women through their Hashimoto's journey, I have recognized that there are fundamental similarities that every person is experiencing, and that needs to be addressed in order for you to get to the next level of health, so that the outcome for you will be a life where you feel in charge, where you feel in control, and where you feel happy to be here, and life is not passing you by, but you are in the middle of it. You feel that the inflammation is leaving your body, injuries are leaving your body, you don't get injured so often, you will feel less fatigued, muscle pain will slow down, joint pain will dissipate, brain fog will dissipate, you feel much more focused, much clearer. There's certain fundamental levels, not levels, but pillars, more to speak, that need to be in place for everybody, and then you can build on these pillars with all the tools and whistles that are out there in terms of supplementation and whatnot. And so this is the purpose of this challenge, to discuss those 3 pillars that everybody needs to know about. And so that is what we have been doing, right? So we have been doing the gut health, we have been doing the detoxification pathways, and today we are going to be talking about the nervous system connection to thyroid and Hashimoto's and overall inflammation. So I think this will be an amazing session for you guys. I think this will be there will be a lot of aha moments for you guys during the session. And please, if there are any, let me know in the comments, and even let me know in the comments if you have experienced any little wins, aha moments over the past couple of days that we talked about the other 2 pillars. What I'm going to do now is I will pull up the Facebook group here on my phone so that I see comments, and so that I can communicate with you, because I always love it when you guys are here with me and listening in and coming on here with me, so I'm not so alone and by myself. Hello, Kimberly. It's nice to see you again. Welcome back. Hello. Okay, so there are a few people watching. We will be getting started in a second. So I want to say thank you for everybody who came on here in the past 2 days, for the wonderful messages that I've been receiving from you guys. It has been a pleasure to be serving you in the past 2 days. We have this beautiful session coming up, so be excited for it. Take out your workbook and make notes in your workbook. There's a whole reflection page that you can just write down your notes. If you still need the workbook, don't hesitate to reach out to Janelle. She is your success advisor for this challenge, and she can send you the workbook and she can send you also the recipe guides. I know that you guys have been loving the recipes, which I absolutely love, love, love. So keep making those wonderful recipes. Keep putting them here in the group. Motivate others to do the same, because that can be honestly a huge motivator, and it can be a huge first important change for somebody in this group to put certain actions into place to overcome Hashimoto's just by starting to cook the recipes in the recipe guide. So I just wanted to say that thank you guys so much. If you still want to book in the free consultation call, you can do that. Also, it's a free consultation call for everybody during this challenge. I have cleared my calendar. I'm here to help you out. Today, I will be announcing a bonus. I'll be announcing a bonus by the end of the session. I'm very excited to announce this bonus, so stay tuned all the way through and listen in. It might be something that you will enjoy very, very much. Okay. So let's go ahead and let's go get started, because we have a lot to cover and I want to be mindful of your time. If you have any questions ever, put them in the comments, reach out to us. We're here to support you. We're here to help you. Okay. So as a summary, again, what is the purpose of this challenge? I really want you to help. I want to help you understand the underlying factors that lead to increased inflammation in the body. We have determined in day one that from a 30,000 foot perspective, inflammation plays a huge, huge role in Hashimoto's symptoms that are being left unmanaged, that can't be managed because of inflammation. Inflammation leads to a host of symptoms in your body, right? So inflammation, chronic inflammation that is not controlled, can lead to a host of different symptoms. That includes fatigue, but that's not the only one, right? There's a lot of other issues, random symptoms that are popping up and that are keeping women really frustrated and I'll say defeated, because they are thinking, oh my goodness, is that another thing that happens because of Hashimoto's? Well, a lot of it has to do with the underlying inflammation, and that can get you stuck one way or another. And we are here to help you understand which areas in your body you can address right away today to help you overcome the inflammation by utilizing certain tools that I have been sharing with you. So that you can get the symptoms under control, that you can get back to health, so that you can stop spiraling down the health spiral, and that you can really start to create this the vision that you have for your life without having to have your Hashimoto's or your diagnoses rule your life, so that you are literally having to schedule and adjust your days and times around your Hashimoto's symptoms. That is what I did for many, many years, and it's absolutely dreadful. And this is what I want for you. Okay, so I want you to really get out of this state of being. So during day one, again, just a quick summary so that we know what we're doing here. So during day one, we really honed in on understanding as to why digestion and absorption of nutrients always, always, always come first. Okay, so nutrient density is so important for us with a chronic inflammatory disease. The body needs more of it. And we are not like a normal person with a normal inflammatory response. We have a chronic inflammatory response going on. We simply need more nutrients in our lives. We need to diversify our diet, and we can't get stuck in an elimination zone. The elimination phase is usually part of the healing protocol, no question, no doubt, but we cannot get stuck in the elimination zone. Otherwise, we are depriving our bodies from nutrients long term, which can cause so many issues and symptoms down the road. And so I shared some really helpful tools with you to get started on healing your gut, including those beautiful recipes that you guys are so happy with. So thank you for sharing those beautiful pictures, and yeah, keep them coming. I really like to see that in the Facebook group. So thank you for that. So during day 2, we talked about detoxification pathways. Really, we learned to understand as to why it is so important to have open drainage and detoxification pathways that you were given naturally, right? That your body has in place, and that are oftentimes clogged up. So we want to decrease the toxic load. We talked about toxic load in our bodies daily to really curb the fire of inflammation that can really keep the inflammation burning. And so we want to make sure that we have exit pathways for the for all of those particles that are not good for us to leave our bodies. Okay, we understand the importance now of supporting those systems on a daily basis by gentle little step-by-step actions. It doesn't have to be a full-on, hardcore, harsh detox protocol. It doesn't have to be. In fact, we have to do it on a daily basis. Okay, so some tools on how you can go about supporting those 3 pathways we discussed is gut health, of course, lymphatic system, and the skin. Okay, so today what we're going to do is we will actually cover the nervous system connection, and more in depth, we're going to be talking about the cortisol response, sleep, blood sugar dysregulation a little bit, and how it all ties in with your thyroid health, with your fatigue, and with your Hashimoto's symptoms. So this topic is a really huge topic, and because we have limited time, I won't address the entire picture. Um, that actually I do inside my Hashimoto's fatigue solution program in our stress and sleep module. So there is a whole stress and sleep module and nervous system regulation module inside my program that is really, really important and necessary to address. Okay, so which actually leads me to share with you that as of today, I have actually opened enrollment again for the 4-month Hashimoto's fatigue solution program. So the official start date will be the beginning of April, and I will post that a little bit later on in the month for everybody else. But I wanted to give you guys the first tips. So just so you know that there is a possibility in joining us in April if you want. But let's get started on today's topic so that we can really hone in on the nervous system and the Hashimoto's and inflammation and the whole adrenal thyroid connection, so that you really understand on how this is affecting you. Right? So if you are excited, let me know if you want to learn more about that. If you know that your nervous system response is keeping you sort of like in a state of stagnation, then this session is definitely for you. Okay, so get out your workbook and you can start taking notes if you like. So let's talk a little bit about the adrenal system health. Okay, the adrenal system, the adrenals and the thyroid are very much connected. There is actually what they call the adrenal thyroid axis in our bodies. The adrenals and the thyroid are, supporting each other. And if one is suffering, the other one is suffering at the same time. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But let's hone in a little bit on the adrenal glands and the nervous system, particularly the sympathetic nervous system. Okay, so the adrenal glands and the sympathetic nervous system, they have a super close relationship in managing stress and maintaining homeostasis in your body. And so you might be asking, okay, so how does this pertain to us with Hashimoto's? Why is this relevant? How is that connected? So there's a few things that are happening here. When your adrenals are fatigued, or when your adrenals are under chronic stress, you automatically have an imbalanced cortisol response. And an imbalanced cortisol response creates additional inflammation. And now by this point, you know that all the attempts that we are doing here is to achieve the opposite. We want to decrease inflammation, right? And so we want to make sure that the cortisol response is regulated optimally. So by increasing, so what happens is when you are having a cortisol response in your body, there is automatically a release of glucose into our system, okay? Because the cortisol response is a stress response, and stress response usually signals to our bodies that we need more energy because we need to either have more energy to focus on the stressor. We need to either run away from the stressor. We have to deal with it. We have to, keep our focus. So this comes in form of glucose. And so by increasing the release of glucose into our system, we are also increasing our insulin response, right? Because we can only have so much blood sugar floating around in our blood before it gets toxic. And so the insulin needs to be in place in order to then put that sugar back into the cells for energy or back into storage. If this is going on continuously, if the cortisol response is going on continuously, there is long-term that can lead to an insulin imbalance, that can lead to insulin resistance, that can then lead to weight loss resistance. So that is why we all but know by now is that restricting calories and cutting down calories for weight loss is not a long-term solution because of hormonal imbalances. And one of them is insulin, okay? And that also can lead to blood sugar dysregulation, okay? So here you start to see the connection between adrenal glands, cortisol release, blood sugar release, insulin resistance, and blood sugar dysregulation. And why does blood sugar dysregulation matter for us with Hashimoto's? Well, because the thyroid needs to convert T4, which is the inactive thyroid hormone, into T3, which is the active thyroid hormone, for proper function. And high blood sugar or insulin resistance can 100% interfere with this conversion process. And what happens is that it might reduce the availability of T3, so your active hormone, which is really crucial for energy, metabolism, and overall well-being, and the T3 levels will go down. So there is one of the really important connections there that I just wanted you to be aware of them. Let me see in the comments if everything is okay. Daniela, I'm sure this is my case. Yes, I know there's a lot of women that have this. I was one of those women who had severe insulin resistance going on in my body. And to this day, I know that I'm prone to blood sugar dysregulation. And so that is why I have to always come back to those 3 pillars that I am teaching you about today, right? So let's talk a little bit about the fatigue, okay? Because both blood sugar imbalances and Hashimoto's often cause fatigue. And when these two conditions are present together, the fatigue can become even more debilitating, right? Affecting your daily life and making it really harder for individuals to manage their life and their health on a day-to-day basis. Another thing I wanted to give you to really understand with the thyroid connection here is that the blood sugar dysregulation can actually also cause T3 to not be able to be absorbed by cells very well. Okay, so there is then like almost like a blockage of cell receptor response to the active thyroid hormone. So that is another big factor. So really understanding the interplay between the nervous system, the adrenal glands, and the thyroid is really crucial for us so that we can start to manage our stress and that we can maintain overall health, right? It's not just that we know, I know stress is not good for me. And stress has so many different faces too, right? It's not that just stress is a very traumatic experience. Stress is something that happens on a daily basis. That can be a full inbox of emails at your work. That can be a relationship that is currently not going really well. That can be how you having to commute to work on a daily basis and being stuck in traffic. All of that is stress, as well as internal stress because of chronic inflammation. Okay. So let's take a little bit of a closer look of the cortisol and thyroid connection before I will give you some solutions that you can, some tools and solutions you can use starting today, in order to support your stress response. But I want you to get that picture a little bit more before we do that. So, like I said before, high cortisol levels can suppress the thyroid's ability to produce TSH and to convert T4 to T3, the active form. Okay. So this can mean that your body consistently has lower levels of the active T3 in your body, which means that if you are on a T4 medication, this might not be the right choice for you. And even though you're taking a T4 medication, you might still feel very sluggish, very fatigued, and not yourself. Okay, that could very well be because your T3 might be out of order. Like I said also before, is that cortisol can interfere with the effectiveness of your thyroid hormones on tissues, right? So I think I mentioned that before. I'm going to say it again here, is that almost every single cell in your body has thyroid hormone receptors, meaning that it's that important for energy production, every cell, right? So now that we know that cortisol can interfere with the effectiveness of thyroid hormones on this tissue, that can lead to symptoms of hypothyroidism in every single cell of your body, right? So you can get the joint pain, you can get the muscle pain, you can get the fatigue, you can get the brain fog, because literally your entire body is connected, right? So I hope I'm painting that picture really clear here, so that you understand the importance of addressing the nervous system, right? This interplay between the two systems is especially important when we are under chronic stress, okay? And when cortisol levels are persistently elevated, right? That absolutely affects the thyroid, and your thyroid will not function optimally, okay? So another thing I wanted to, so let me know in the comments if this makes sense to you guys. Let me know in the comments if this is clear, if you get the importance of really addressing your nervous system when it comes to your thyroid health and your inflammation, okay? So usually what you hear on social media a lot, but also doctors and things like that, and naturopathic doctors, but mostly on social media when you're following certain influencers, is that everybody is beating down a little bit on high cortisol and saying, we want to lower cortisol. We want to have the lowest cortisol you can possibly have, because cortisol is so bad for you. It's not. We need cortisol. Cortisol is a very important hormone in our bodies. If we didn't have a good cortisol response in the morning, we would not be able to get out of bed. We would actually be dead. We wouldn't be able to even rise out of bed. Okay, so cortisol is something that gets us going. Cortisol is very important. It has anti-inflammatory properties because there are stressful situations in our lives all the time, and the cortisol response has to be in place in order for our bodies to not fall and break apart because of the anti-inflammatory properties, right? It also sharpens your senses, it sharpens your focus. It does have good things. But the issue here is, and take note of this, is persistent chronic high cortisol, or cortisol that is on a wrong kind of cycle, because cortisol is something that needs to be high in the morning and then it slowly goes down, and then in the evening your cortisol is at its lowest. What I see on so many test results that clients are sharing with me is that it's reversed. So the cortisol response is very low in the morning. And let me know in the comments if that is the case for you. So you feel very sluggish in the morning. It's really difficult for you to get out of bed in the mornings. It takes you a long time to get going. And then by the end of the day, all of a sudden you're getting your second wind. And you're like, oh my goodness, now I have all the energy that I didn't have, that I needed throughout the day, and now I need to get everything done. And you're hustling and bustling by the end of the day when you should be actually winding down. Um, yes, so Daniela says exactly that. Mine is high in the evening and low in the morning. That's right. And so this is a dysregulated cycle, and we want to reverse that, right? Because it's very, very, very important in order to reduce the inflammation, in order to get the Hashimoto's managed and under control. Very difficult. She just starts to function around 4 p.m. Yes. So lots of people hate on the cortisol and they want to desperately lower it, but they 100% miss the point, right? The point is that we need to get back on track. We need to get back on the, optimal cortisol cycle. And then that will help us to feel better, and that will help us to decrease our inflammation. The other thing is that your adrenal glands, they can only produce so much, right? I mean, they're really tiny glands. They're sitting on top of your kidneys, and they have a lot of work to do, and they can get sluggish. They simply can't handle the stress response after a little while, right? So what they do is, in trying to help you out, because you are consistently having the stress response, what they do is they try to produce more and more and more for you. And so they're starting to take away from other parts of the body to refuel, right? And so here is where I want you to listen up, because I think this will be a big aha moment for a lot of people, for you. So they take away from another hormone, which is called progesterone, right? So progesterone. And to be more accurate here, they take away from a hormone that is called pregnenolone. So pregnenolone is basically the precursor hormone for both estrogen and progesterone. So it shunts it, right? So the cholesterol production is heightened, and so it needs the fuel and it needs the building blocks from that precursor hormone that usually would be used in your body in a relaxed state of being to make progesterone, right? And so then the whole other hormonal imbalance thing comes into play when it comes to high estrogen, right? Estrogen dominance, painful periods, PMS, migraines, depression, like all of these type of things will come into effect. And not a lot of women make that connection. right? And so I hope this is really eye-opening for you now, because it was for me, because when I was first diagnosed with PCOS, actually. So I had polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is definitely related to blood sugar imbalances and high estrogen um, in my body. Okay, so let me know if that makes sense to you. Okay. Um, Another thing I wanted to mention is the blood sugar dysregulation and the weight gain. Okay, so I know that weight is such a it's such a touchy topic for us, because it is very frustrating for very many women to not be able to shed the weight regardless of what they're doing, right? So I know a lot of women that are exercising on a regular basis, 5 days a week, really restricting their calories, or eating less, or even eating a lot of nutrients and exercising like crazy, but they just can't lose the weight. Let me know if that is you in the comments, right? But the excessive exercise and the calorie restriction can actually backfire on you, because if your cortisol production, so exercise is another stressor on your body, right? So that's not to say that exercise is not good for you, but if you are exercising too much for your body that can't handle it because of your adrenal sluggishness, you can absolutely have a detrimental effect on weight loss, as well as inflammation, because it creates, again, more cortisol production, right? And if your cortisol production is in overdrive, your blood sugar will be going up, due to the release from your muscles and your liver into the bloodstream, to fuel the stress response, right? And so what happens next is that it's just you are adding almost like kindling to the fire. It grows and grows and grows, and then too much of it is just too much, and your cells, they say, okay, wait a second, we are fully saturated, we have enough energy, we can't take up anymore, and they start to close the doors. And then they can't take up any more energy in forms of sugar, and they start to become resistant to it, which then can lead to insulin resistance, which is huge in people with Hashimoto's. And insulin resistance is such a underlying root cause for the inability to lose weight. Weight just does not come off, because the energy that is not being directed to the cells anymore is now being directed where? Into storage, right? So it's being stored either in the liver or in fat tissue. So, right. So I was just checking the comments here if there's anything that I was missing. Yes. Yes. So I hope that makes sense. And now you get the picture of how the whole nervous system response is such a big topic, and it has so many parts to it that we need to address. And I don't want to overwhelm you. I really think that everybody can start to make changes to these things in a very strategic and systematic way, and that is what we also do in the Hashimoto's fatigue solution. But it needs to be addressed. Okay. So let's think about, and let's talk about what we can do in order to help with the stress response, in order to help how we can change the cortisol response in your body, right? If it's reversed. So I know Daniela here says that she would like to change her cortisol response, and it is possible, right? I mean, that's what we do in the Hashimoto's fatigue solution every day. It is possible. So in I also want you to understand that there are so many different pieces to stress response that we can utilize. But there are certain ones that give you the biggest bang for the buck, which we'll talk about. Okay. Um, so what can you do? So the first thing, the number one thing, is, and you might be surprised of me saying that, is I want you to think about your thoughts. Okay, I want you to think about your thoughts. Um, I want to. I posted actually a post and that I've just popped up in my feed today from one of the functional medicine doctors. I think Will Cole is his name. I forget right now. I think Will Cole is his name. Who says you can't heal a body that you hate, right? And it is so true. It's so true. It all starts with up here first. You need to start to really create a healthy mindset around your labeled disease, right? Because your body simply doesn't know reality from fiction. So your brain doesn't have windows. I always say that. I always say that to my girls too. Your brain doesn't have windows. It can't look around you. It senses from the inside, and it senses what is being sent to your brain, and that is thoughts in the first place. So my question to you is, are you fueling your body with the right thoughts, or are you subconsciously hindering the healing process with worries and a fearful state of being? Okay. We can't heal a body that you hate. You need to start to love yourself. You need to start to accept what happened. And you can take your time and you can go through the grieving process of having to, quote unquote, deal with an autoimmune disease. That is totally okay. Right. But you will have to start shifting your mindset into a more positive space, and you will have to um, you tell yourself that there's always a solution. There's always, it might not look the way that you wanted it to look like, but there's always a solution. And sometimes this is really hard to do when you're on your own, just doing it by yourself. So creating a really supportive network around you can be extremely supportive of just that, creating the right thoughts. So whether that is in being immersed in a community, this is what we do inside my Hashimoto's Fatigue Solution program, whether that is in a family setting or friends. It's very important that you find the right people to support you, and you will have to start to love yourself. Okay. So that is actually my number one solution for you guys. If you want to write that down, and by the way, this is also your homework. So I want you to think about what tools that I'm sharing with you you can start using today in order to help you support your nervous system regulation, and allow your body to wind down on a regular basis, to have this, to create a pattern interrupt of chronic stress response and bring in the relaxation and rejuvenation. Um, Rachel says, I think it's more the feelings that come from the thoughts. When bad thoughts become feelings, we cause damage. Yes, that is true. I 100% agree with that, because our thoughts cause emotions, right? I mean, our thoughts are not something, practical or tangible. They are there and they're causing us to feel a certain way, that can then lead to us to choose certain actions for sure. But at the same time, it can also just it can create a physical, just by having a thought, it can create a physical response. Like if I were to just really sit down and think about, if I were to sit down and think about that I simply I'm biting into, if you can do that, close your eyes and you think about that you have a slice of lemon right now in your hand and you're taking a bite into this slice of lemon and see how your body physically responds to that. I always feel that my saliva is starting to run. I always feel that, I feel in anticipation of the sourness coming into my body, my saliva is starting to, be more active in my mouth, and I can literally feel that in my body. So this is another part to the thoughts that I was actually referring to as well. So okay, so that is number one. Number two is sleep hygiene. Okay, so circadian rhythm work, super super important, and that is the biggest thing that you can do in order to help, in order for you to help the cortisol balance, right? So in order to support the right cortisol response, circadian rhythm work is the number one thing that you will have to do, because cortisol, like cortisol response, is very much connected to daylight as well. And so I think the easiest and most straightforward tool I can share with you is, in order to start working on that, is to expose your body to daylight within the first 20 to 30 minutes at the beginning of the day. Especially if you're feeling sluggish like Daniela in the morning. You want to make sure that you get as much daylight on your skin as possible, because that just like increases your cortisol at a very rapid pace, and it decreases your melatonin. So this really kickstarts kickstarts your cortisol rhythm for the day and sets you up for a much better day. Another thing that is equally important is, when it comes to sleep hygiene, is not just the morning routine, but also the evening routine, right? Because we want to do the opposite. We can't just continue to go about our day when it's like 7, 8 o'clock, without even thinking that our bodies are just then able to just shut off. And when it's time to go to bed, go to bed. We have to really create an environment where our bodies is starting to connect the environment that we're creating with the sense of, okay, I can relax now. There's no more stressors coming my way. I'm in a safe space now. I am ready to go to sleep, kind of thing. So very, very important, the morning routine and the evening routine as a sleep hygiene protocol, to create that for you in order to support your cortisol response. Okay. Very important, because if you can't sleep, you can't heal. That pertains to yesterday's day. What I'm now teaching you guys here is that the liver, your main detoxification organ, is actually the most active at night. Okay, so that is the only organ that is not winding down its function. It's actually ramping up its function at night while you sleep for detoxification purposes. So you want to have a good restorative sleep so that your detoxification pathways are going to be optimal, right? All of these things matter. They are very important. So we shouldn't be overlooking them in our day-to-day, if that makes sense. Okay, perfect. Daniela says we will start doing that tomorrow. Amazing. Wonderful. That's what I want to hear. All right. So, and then let's talk a little bit about adrenal support. Okay. So what can you do in order to help your adrenals to feel supported, feel the love, and feel rejuvenated? There's a few lifestyle solutions to calm the body and the mind. And I will tell you, that is the one thing that I will tell you, is that there is and I'll talk about that in a second. There are a few supplement solutions and nutrition solutions that can definitely help with adrenal health, but the biggest bang for the buck you will get with lifestyle changes when it comes to adrenal support and nervous system regulation. There's a lot of lifestyle that has to come into play here. Okay, so I'm going to give you my favorites. Or a few of my favorites. Number one are breathing techniques. So, breathing is such an important lifestyle choice that you can make. It has such a huge impact on your vagus nerve interruption. Like when there is a stress response going on and you are starting a specific breathing technique to calm your nervous system, it can disrupt the stress response in its infancy. So it works really quickly, and it is very helpful. And not only is it helpful for your adrenals, it's also helpful for your lungs. And as we have heard yesterday, we talked about yesterday, your lungs are also a detoxification pathway. They are, part of your detoxification pathways that you can open up with breathing. Okay, so breathing techniques are very helpful. I like box breathing, and I also like the 365 method, which I think is the easiest to begin with. And then you can move into box breathing or any other breathing that you like. Let me know in the comments if you have been doing some breathing techniques before and which one is your favorite. There's so many of them, so you can try a lot of them out. Another thing, of course, is quiet time. It is very important for us to disconnect in this day and age. And that doesn't mean that you have to go out into the wilderness, and spend like an hour in the woods or something like that. If you can, that's amazing. I would love to do that every day. But you can just simply create 5 to 10 minutes of quiet time for yourself away from technology of all sorts. So I will give you one little example here from one of my one-on-one clients that I'm actually working with right now. It's really powerful. So she had a lot of digestive issues, lots of constipation, IBS symptoms, bowel movements were always very, very difficult for her and things like that. We really created a 10-minute quiet time protocol for her that included some breathing activities, that included some prayer time, some journaling, but mostly just sitting there. In the beginning, she needed her phone to listen to music. Otherwise, her mind couldn't shut off. Then we worked on her not using the music anymore because she started to get distracted from, the phones, like the buzzing and the pinging and whatnot. And so we started to have her move away from the phone. She turned it off, and she started other strategies that we discussed with her to focus her mind. And lo and behold, she was doing that for a week for 10 minutes every morning. And she was sitting in silence. And guess what happened to her bowel movements? All of a sudden, she started to be able to go to the bathroom first thing in the morning after her 10-minute quiet time, which she hasn't been doing for over 15 years. That just goes to show you how powerful the nervous system connection is to everything, even our gut health, our inflammation, all of these things. So very, very powerful. Okay, so quiet time. Hydration, adrenal cocktails are amazing. I don't know if you have heard about adrenal cocktails before. I love adrenal cocktails. When cortisol is dysregulated, the body is just burning through a lot of nutrients. Our nutrient demand is so much higher when our adrenals are under stress. And we can really do a lot with replenishing them with adrenal cocktails. So any combination of coconut water, coconut cream, or orange juice, sea salt, lemon, lime, additional magnesium or collagen powder that could be optional, electrolytes, anything like that is really refreshing and hydrating for your adrenals. Okay, so you can incorporate that as well. Yes. Danielle says, I'm always on the go. I don't have a quiet time. So for this challenge, Daniela, for this session here, I would then challenge you to start to create your 5 minute quiet time a day, first thing in the morning. So if you do that, let us know how that goes for you. And lastly, I wanted to also mention some herbal supports for your adrenals. So there are a few adaptogens that I really like for adrenal and nervous system regulation. So my favorite is holy basil, but I know that a lot of people respond really well to ashwagandha. I myself didn't, but I wanted to plop that here in the session too, because I know that it works for a lot of people. So you can give it a try. For me personally, holy basil was a lifesaver and a game changer for my adrenal health. Okay. Um, and then for sleep, okay, so create a wake and sleep cycle. Like I said before earlier, with waking up to the daylight in the morning, stepping outside, but also there's a lot of environmental triggers that you can change in your bedroom and things like that in order to really create that sacred space that your body connects with a relaxation. So if you have any sort of TV and technology in your bedroom, I would highly suggest to remove them. I know it's hard sometimes. I had clients that actually had their husband complain that she started to dismantle the TV and started to lug it out of the bedroom. But what needs to be done, it needs to be done. Um, okay, so yeah, so this is what I wanted to share with you tonight in terms of the whole adrenal, cortisol, inflammation, thyroid connection. So let me know in the comments if this was helpful for you, if you have been getting some aha moments here, and if you're excited to start doing some work around this nervous system regulation, understanding how important it really is long term for your Hashimoto's health. Okay. Okay, so we have basically come to the end of this last live session here of this challenge, but we are not done yet. Okay, so everybody, we are not done yet. You guys still need to complete the homework this week. You guys are still going through the challenge. We're still here to support you. You still can put the homework in to win the engagement prize that I have available to you guys. And I do have another exciting announcement to make for you guys. But before I do that, I want to quickly review what you have learned in the 3 days. Again, just so that you have a nice overview. And then I'm gonna give you my super exciting announcement. I am so happy to share that with you. So hang tight. As a summary, day one, gut health, Hashimoto's. Number one key, you can start going, start on your nutrition right away. It's the easiest way to start decreasing inflammation in your body. Day number two, detoxification pathways. Super critical to allow your body to get rid of inflammation. Day number three, nervous system dysregulation. Really important to understand how our stress response is fueling the fire of inflammation and how it can really, disrupt our healing journey. Okay, so I really want every one of you here to know that you can also feel your absolute best with your diagnosis. You might not believe it, but I know so. I know that you can, and you can absolutely feel like a human being with a sharp focus, without hurting joints, without the bloat and all the food reactions, and without the fear of worrying about what is to happen next on your health journey. right? This challenge will continue for you here in this week, but also after that week, right? And I want you to continue to put in the work, and I want you to continue to take some action here, right? So yes, I've had so many women that I guided through these concepts, but not just the concepts, but also the application of those concepts in depth over the past 5 years. And I did that at first in one-on-one consultations only, and I realized, then it dawned on me that there's so many fundamental pieces that were simply not in place, that every woman has to have in place first in order to get to the next level of their health, right? And so this is when I created my 4-month Hashimoto's Fatigue Solution program around this data that I had collected in order to help so many women to really build a strong foundation, right? So a strong foundation that I want you to know of your digestion and absorption that needs to be supported and aligned first. Then your blood sugar needs to be brought back into balance, right? So that your cortisol response returns to normal. Your detoxification pathways need to be supported daily so that the level of inflammation can come down and your thyroid can start to thrive again, right? So these are really important pillars, and this can sound so overwhelming. I get it. And it can be if you're trying to do it all by yourself, right? I have been there. It took me 5 years to get to a place where I felt human again. It's a very long time. But you don't have to wait, and you don't have to do it all by yourself, right? Because my program that I have created, the 4-month Hashimoto's Fatigue Solution program, has been created and designed in a way that you are getting the information and guidance that you need, but you will also find the high touch support and accountability, right? And honestly, the support and the accountability is what pulls you through in the end, right? It's not the information that you can get anywhere these days. There's a lot of information out there, but what if you need help? What if you need somebody who can rein you back in and put you back on the right path, right? And that is what our community does. And I'm so happy that I'll be able to open up the doors again for my program come April. And I want to give you guys the first steps. I also want to say that the whole thing, it doesn't have to be dreadful. So a lot of women are thinking, oh my goodness, there's going to be so much work involved. I don't have time. I'm busy enough to begin with. I don't have any energy to begin with. I don't have time or energy to even think about a program like that. It doesn't have to be dreadful. It's very simple, easy to digest steps, very easy to implement. We have a lot of fun inside the Hashimoto's Fatigue Solution. Women are making progress at their own pace, in their own time, with us as a team behind them, right? So it's there for everybody who really wants to see progress in their health, but maybe you don't know how to do it properly, or maybe you're lost, or maybe you just need the account and support. So tonight, I want to invite you, okay? I want to invite you to join us in April 2025 for this year for only $699. $699 for a 4-month high-touch support program that teaches you everything you need to know. I even offer payment plans to everyone if needed to make this breakthrough program, which is a breakthrough program, as easily accessible as possible for everybody. Okay, so I do have the payment plans in place if anybody needs them. It's a life-changing experience, and for some of them, it's a life-changing experience, and I don't say this lightly. It really is. So my invitation to you is, if you are ready to change your Hashimoto symptoms around, to feel that you're ready to take matters into your own hand, to feel full of vitality and zest for life, then this program is definitely for you. If you're ready to tackle these things, but you don't quite know how to do it, this program is for you. And oftentimes, if somebody needs a gentle, loving push to keep implementing better choices, this program is definitely for you. Okay. This program is not for you if you want a quick fix, or if you're looking for a bunch of supplements and restrictive diet plans, then this program is not for you. Okay. So if you're on the fence, I encourage you to book in a call and see if it might be. We can discuss it if it is a good fit or not. And trust me, I will be completely honest and let you know if it's not. Okay. So now I want to share my big announcement with you. Okay. So are you ready? I'm super excited for this. Okay. So the big announcement is that I am offering one more bonus session for you guys. And the bonus session is a Zoom session. So it's a closed Zoom call, question and answer coaching session. So it's a full-on coaching session as a group, similar to what we do inside the Hashimoto's Fatigue Solution. Okay. So if you want a personalized coaching on your Hashimoto situation, if you have any questions around food, nutrition, detox, inflammation, exercise, lifestyle, anything that you want to know about, come to the Zoom call, an hour Zoom call on Saturday. I'm not sure about the time yet. I'll post it in the group. Come to the Zoom call session and you can get personalized coaching from me on Saturday for free as part of this challenge. Okay. So I think this will be amazing for so many of you. And additionally, I have decided to everyone who is going to show up live on the Zoom call on Saturday with us and then decides to perhaps join the Hashimoto's Fatigue Solution, which, by the way, you don't have to during this call. That is not the purpose of the call. The purpose of the call is just the coaching session. But if you decide that you do want to join and you are showing up live on Saturday, I'm going to pay 30% of the enrollment fee for you. So if you feel on Saturday that the coaching has been great for you, the program sounds amazing, you really want to feel your best, I'll cover 30% of the enrollment fee for you to make it really, really accessible for you. So that is 30% of $699, which will be $490 for 4 months of high-touch nutrition and Hashimoto's coaching program. So this translates into $120 a month for 4 months. So I think this would be 100% worth your health. And I'm very happy to be able to extend that to you guys. Okay. So if you are ready to go now and say, I'm ready, I have heard enough, I'm ready to go, I have decided to join. And if you join us before the end of this week, and if you pay in full, I will give you $100 of the enrollment price, and I will give you an additional 1 month free inside the program. Okay, so that is literally a fast action bonus that I'm extending to everybody. I'm very excited to be able to do this job. I'm very excited to support as many women as possible. There's too many women that are suffering out there. I was one of them once. I invested thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars into my own health, including going back to nutrition school, paying specialists and things like and naturopathic doctors and functional medicine professionals out of pocket. I know what it's like to spend a lot of money on your health. And so that is why I have created this program that is very effective and that is very supportive for, an amount of money that is very, very manageable for so many women, so that we can finally help so many more women in this world that really need the help. Okay. All right, everybody. I have been talking enough for today. So please continue to submit your homework for the participation prize. Remember, on Saturday, we have a live call session, a Q&A coaching session. Okay. I'm going to be posting the time in the group. So come join us live. Keep cooking up some recipes and post them in the group. I always want to see what you guys are cooking up in the kitchen. Okay. Keep sharing your aha moments under the videos. We comment, Janelle and I, we comment on every single person. We support all of you guys in here and your little wins along the way. Please share them with us. Okay. Keep the momentum going during this week and beyond this week. Okay. But specifically during this week, we are here, Janelle and I are here to support you all the way. Right. And don't forget that on Saturday, we have our bonus session, and I'm excited to see everybody live on Saturday for you to get some extra coaching in this challenge. Okay. So, everyone, again, thank you so much for joining me tonight. We are done with the 3 live sessions. I hope that you were able to take a lot away from it. And I will see you again very soon and have a wonderful rest of your evening. I'll see you later.